It's the PokerNews Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 887th episode of the PokerNews Podcast. I am Chad Holloway, joined by Kyna England and Mike Holtz at Level 9 Studio in Las Vegas. We have a good show for you. We're going to talk about a fight at the ARIA Poker Room that broke out, the employees event. We both have some special connections to that, Mike. Lots of drama on that. We're going to give you an update on whatever happened to Hoyt Corkins, two-time bracelet winner and WPT champ, the 14th anniversary of Black Friday, and what unexpected poker player actually plays the piano pretty well. And then, of course, recent tournament winners. Let's start, you two, with the fight at the ARIA, because this is because of you two. You brought this to my attention, that there was a fight. I don't know who heard it first between the two of you, but when did this start making the rounds, so to speak, there in the Vegas local poker scene?
Well, I actually heard it at work, and I'm not allowed to talk about stuff that happens at work. So somebody came into my work and told me about it and showed me the video. And so I thought you guys might have heard about it too. So it was a pretty crazy video, though. It had happened the night before. I think I heard about it the next morning. So, and then Mike Detective found it, right?
Yeah, I was sent it by people, and super hard detective work by me. I looked at it, and I said, wow, what a fight. What a great fight that was. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's another incident, the ARIA Poker Room. There's been a couple of them. I remember the one dealer got into it a couple years ago, I think. You guys remember that? Or maybe it was during COVID. Remember the one guy tussled with the dealer or whatever? Yeah. I don't really remember the outcome of that, but yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I mean, fights happen. You don't usually see them in a poker room because the incentive is not to do that, because if you do get in a fight in a poker room, you're generally 86 for the rest of your life. So not worth it to push a floor and then get banned forever and assault charges, in my opinion. But
I wonder what even happened. Did we get a full story? A guy just seemed angry on the video.
I know, right? So there is a video, and I'm sure people who are listening, watching, want to see this video. If you want to see it, you got to be watching on YouTube. If you're just listening, you can check it out there, but you'll be able to hear it a little bit. Stephen Holstein was at the ARIA Poker Room playing and was kind enough to give us permission to share the video. Check it out.
Go fucking now! Go ahead, you fucking people! Fuck you! I gotta get my money. Go ahead. I gotta get my money. This shit's coming. Fuck you! I gotta get my money.
All right, so there you have it, the big fight, if you will. I mean, you just can't get physical in a poker room. The guy, was just, I got to get my money. I got to get my money. I really don't know the story. The guy name is apparently Tony, from what we can piece together in the video. The casinos don't comment on these kind of incidences. I'm sure he was trespassed. We won't be seeing him at any MGM properties. But I don't know, pretty wild stuff. I've seen some arguments in the poker room, but I don't think I've ever seen it get physical. Mike, have you guys seen any, people coming to blows or physicality in a poker room before?
I don't think so. One time a guy in old school Potawatomi, a guy shouted at me pretty aggressively, and all of a sudden security kind of swarmed around the table. It was very inappropriate. He was just yelling at me for winning hand, and that's the only really aggressiveness I've kind of seen. I've
seen a couple fights in Delaware. Yeah.
Delaware.
Yeah. People get rowdy over there. And then, what was his name? Teddy Iceman Do you know what I'm talking about,
Oh
Chad?
yeah, I think Teddy Iceman Monroe. If I remember
Teddy
right.
Iceman Monroe. Funny story with Teddy. This guy's like apparently he has a couple of deep tournament runs in like the 90s or the early 2000s, and he was playing poker at the Wynn all the time, 1-3. And funny enough story, in Delaware, someone changed my name in the Bravo to Ice Baby. And so I moved out here and I was telling the story, and this guy's at the table. He's like, "Motherfucker, I'm Iceman." And I was like, "Ice Baby and Iceman." He's from DC. I'm from DC. So we ended up getting talking. And he texts me and he's like, "Take my number down." He's like, "Yo, you need any, you know," he said he could offer me things. It doesn't matter what those were, yada, yada.
Oh, what things?
Maybe a little weed, maybe just whatever. He's like, "Text me, we'll have a barbecue, blah, blah, blah." And then he leaves the table. And someone's like, "You know that guy's a giant scammer, right?" And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't know that." I Google it, 2 + 2 Teddy. It's like what he does is he finds white boys at the table. He tells them to invite him to a barbecue, and then he finds a way to get. I was like, "Dude, this is the fucking crazy shit ever."
Wow, you're a mark.
Right, exactly. And then a couple weeks later, I'm at the table and like at the Wynn, and it's just like a million securities grabbing him and pulling him out. So I don't know if it was a fight or whatever, but yeah, great story, Mike.
Me in like high school health class, they show you anti-drug videos, and there was one. Me and my friends still joke about this 30 years later about like Iceman's got some super hot ice for you. It sounds like Iceman really had some super hot ice for you.
It's that super hot fire. All right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the former casino employees event, which has now been rebranded the industry employees event. I mean, let's not mince words. It's because of you, Mike, right? After you went deep last year, finished in 11th place and caused all this uproar.
Yeah, I seem to be going deep in a lot of things lately and changing things for people. It's crazy. I don't know. Shit happens. I mean, this is a long time coming, I think, right? I mean, it's been the industry employees event, actually, but it's been called the casino employees event, as we talked about last year. Then I went and played it, and everyone said, "Hey, dickwad, it's a casino employees event." Interesting that when I was there, none of the casino employees said anything bad about it, but I digress. There was an uproar, and now it's been changed. And
it's been widened. It's not been changed it's because more people can play now. Now they're saying that like vloggers can play. Like they're saying that like professional poker players who are vloggers can play. So like we could still play. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not limiting it because you played. They're expanding it because you played. Maybe not even because you played, just to like get rid of the like guff around it, because we were allowed to play. You know what I mean? Like we had to go up there, we had to show our credentials, and we were allowed to play. And now they're making it, okay, these people, they're coming out with it. This is allowed, you know? And like whether people like it or they don't like it, that's what they did. I don't know.
No, I agree with you completely. I think it's they've clearly allowed it. We're definitely allowed to play. And the way I would look at it is this: it's like I've seen the comment from a few people on social media, like, "Oh, well, nobody wants Mike Holtz in there, like blah blah blah." Like that's
not true. People did enjoy playing with you.
No, I know, but I've seen the comments specifically. Like Jesse Fullen, for example, said, who is my boy. I fuck with Jesse Fullen super hard. He's my dog. But he said like nobody wants Michael Holtz in the employees event. He won Player of the Year in 2021, 2023. Even the pros, aren't beating him. Now he's beating him. But it's like, dude, I mean, that's how it is for every tournament, right? I mean, I would assume nobody wants me in any tournament. Like the pros don't want me in the normal tournament. So like, I don't know. I just think, just because like somebody might have a higher skill level, if they're still in the criteria, does that just mean they just?
It doesn't really seem. That seems almost discriminatory. Like it's like, okay, well, because you've accomplished a little bit more, you still fit into the criteria. You're still allowed to play. You're one of 1,000 people. Kenny Howard plays every year. No one ever said anything about that. You know what I mean? Like Chad plays every year. Nobody says anything about that. But I mean, it's allowed. I mean, people can guff about anything. If you give somebody something to complain about, they're going to complain.
It was interesting because when I did win it in 2013, there was an uproar because at that point was, does Poker Media classify as a casino employee, right? And so now that it's went to industry employee only, and Kev Math, I think, tweeted that he did get confirmation that poker bloggers, vloggers, streamers, etc. will be eligible to play.
Which is
that's
outlandish.
really what caused the latest. Yeah. So Doug Polk and those kind of guys who technically could play have all come out and said that they're not going to.
They could play before, though. Doug Polk owns a card room. he could play.
That's
Like
true.
Andrew Nemi owns a card room. They could play. So they are part of the industry. Like whether or not they're really good players, that doesn't mean that they aren't industry professionals. I think people just need to relax. And last year, all these people coming out of the woodworks being like, let the casino employees play by themselves. Bro, like, why are you white knighting for these guys? Like, they don't need you to stick up for them. First of all, they were all like pretty much a lot of people that Mike was playing with at the end were very good players. Like, they don't need protection there. Like, these guys, they deal with cards every day. They do different things in the industry. They are also players that just work in card rooms.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not no snitch, but maybe years down the line, I can say some stuff about some of the other people who ran very deep in the event. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't have any jobs.
I can say when I won it more than a decade ago that there was somebody deep in there at the final table, in fact, who was a poker pro. Yes, within the last calendar year, he had apparently worked at a casino, but since then he had turned professional. So that's always been
I've heard that from a few people too. Like that they're like, oh, I got to go like deal one event so that I can play the casino employees event. You know what I mean? Like
multiple people. Well, I don't want to say too much, but let's just say this.
Like they're getting around it too.
No.
They are. Yeah.
One of the people specifically told me, cool guy, nice guy, not going to say who, ran very deep. One of the guys does not work at a casino at all, hasn't worked there for many years, and is used an expired badge.
Well, see?
Whatever,
Well,
we're all a bunch of scumbags.
Shit's crazy.
There is a poll on PokerNews. Do you agree with the new eligibility requirements for the WSOP Casino Employees event? It's no longer the Casino Employees event. Now it is the Industry Employees event. But 89% said no. It should be exclusive to casino and poker employees. Only 1% said yes. Vloggers and streamers are technically poker media. 6% said yes, but there needs to be verification to avoid exploitation. And 4% had no opinion. So let me just throw this out there. I'm going to play it if my schedule allows. I still do work for PokerNews. I have forever. I've got a Pennsylvania gaming license. Like, I consider myself working in the industry, right? That's how I make my living. My question to you two then would be like, do you plan to play it again? Even though you can technically, do you plan to? Do you risk the potential blowback?
Probably not. I don't know. I mean, it was really fun last year because, like, the three of us, like, the podcast was new. We did it together. I had a good time. I don't know. It's probably less to do with the blowback and more to do with, like, I'm just going to be very selective about the events that I do play this year, and like I want to make the most of it. And that's just not an event that I'm really interested in. I don't think.
I kind of got a bone to pick with Abby Poker, like over the tweet that she had with the, she basically said like nobody should be able to do the PokerNews Poker.org, and then like there was a bunch of blowbacks saying live reporters, blah, blah, and then she walked it back and was like, well, maybe just like podcasters who work for PokerNews and Poker.org. It's like,
so she was just saying like just we can't play it?
It's just us. That's the only people, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like bloggers, like Rampage, Kevin Martin, they can all go ahead.
She was
Masato.
saying, she was saying no to them too, but she was saying for PokerNews and PokerWorks specifically, she was like, none of the employees should be able to play, yada, yada. And then she walked it back and said podcasters / media shouldn't be able to play.
So just us, basically. Are there anybody else?
Well, I guess like Joe Kim and like the media people for poker.org, I guess she was talking about as well.
Like they can't play?
I don't know, man.
Abby, who is allowed to play?
Oh, God. That was rough.
All right, we are back. Now, I'm going to talk about a guy who has been in the poker world for a long time, but not so much anymore, and that's Hoyt Corkins, a.k.a. the Alabama Cowboy. If you watched the WPT during the poker boom days, you probably remember him. He's won 2 WPT titles, finished runner-up to Gus Hansen in one of those WPTs, a 2-time bracelet winner. In fact, he won a bracelet in 1992, then took an 11-year hiatus from poker, went back to Alabama, became a cattle rancher, and then ended up winning a second bracelet. I think it was, in 2007, won another one for $500,000. He was a big name during the poker boom. Are you guys familiar with Hoyt Corkins, or at least the name?
I remember watching on the shows like back when I was in college, like old school OG people. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching on like Poker After Dark and like the WSOP stuff. Hoyt Corkins, he was a character, that guy, and he had a good run a few times. It's killer.
He got $6.1 million in career earnings according to the Hendon Mob, including over $1 million when winning the WPT. Looks like Foxwoods in 2003, and I'm just looking at the results for that. Phil Hellmuth in third place at that final table.
Hmm.
I knew Hoyt Corkins from those WPT days. And also when I got in the industry around 2009, he was still playing actively. In fact, he was representing Doyle's Room. He was a good friend of Doyle Brunson for many years. I always wore the cowboy hat with the Doyle's Room patch on it. And he used to play in a bounty tournament on that website. So I used to play against him. Then got to know him throughout the years at the WSOP. And then he disappeared. He just kind of went radio silent. One of those guys like, oh, whatever happened to Hoyt Corkins? And I'm looking right now, like he didn't have, let me just see. Basically in 2010, he had $1 million year, couple 6-figure years after that. And then he just really dropped off in 2013 and beyond. And it's funny though, because out of the blue, a couple of years ago, I got a message on Facebook Messenger and it was Hoyt Corkins.
Oh,
and
wow.
Years
you
ago?
guys want to take a guess? Yeah, and we've been. He sends me messages every once in a while. I'd say a couple times a year we exchange messages, just like, "Hey, how you been? What are you up to?" And one recently happened, so that's what inspired me to be like, "Let me give an update on Hoyt Corkins."
Can I guess?
You guys want to take a guess?
I think,
where he's at these days?
Well, you go ahead, Kyna.
No, I don't want to guess.
You don't want to guess at all?
And
I've got a
I'm
pretty good guess,
laughing
actually.
about what you're going to say.
Well, no, I'm going to say something that I think it's factual because Chad, he fired a little red herring earlier and alluded to a prison situation. So I think actually Hoyt Corkins in El Salvador as a rancher / farmer.
Well, yes, I did joke off the air that maybe he was in an El Salvadorian prison, which is not the case. But he's not in El Salvador.
Wait,
Salvador.
He's in Costa Rica playing online poker.
I mean, you guys are going down the right path, so to speak, except for it's the other side of the world. He has been living in the Philippines.
Oh.
So he is one of these gentlemen who has retired to, hey, I get it. Brad Doherty, 1991 WSOP Main Event champ, went there.
Is there anything specific about the Philippines that lonely older men? Anyway, I don't know, man. I'm getting canceled, dude. I don't know what's happening anymore.
I will say this,
baby.
He looks like he's having a good time. He's sent me pictures of him out there scuba diving, having the time of his life.
Good for him.
No, really, like Mike. I'll just say this: like I'm getting older, you're getting older. Don't judge. You never know.
No, I'm
know
not.
Where we'll be.
Listen,
live life.
If you want to go through sex tourism, you do whatever you want to enjoy the fine young ladies of the world. Hopefully, not in terrible conditions. And yeah, I don't know where this is going.
Keep going on that.
No, I'll keep talking about it. Let's keep talking about Filipino sex workers. All right. Hoyt Corkins, ladies and gentlemen.
Is he coming back for the WSOP?
Yeah. Is he going to be there? Is he coming, Chad?
He was actually at the WSOP last year, very under the radar. I think he notched a few cashes there. Let me actually look at that real quick. Yeah, actually, it was a couple years ago now. He had 4 cashes at the 2023 WSOP. Nothing too big. Will not be at the WSOP this year, unfortunately. But still dabbles in poker, and he's played a couple tournaments over there in Southeast Asia. But for the most part, is retired and just living his best life, so to speak. And I don't know. It's one of those, like, if you're like me, you love the old school players, you love the where are they now kind of stories. That's a little update on the Alabama Cowboy, Hoyt Corkins.
The Alabama Cowboy.
Wait, is that our transition? Because I like it. To the Alabama White Snake.
Well, yeah, that was last week about Shannon Shorr.
Yeah, but he's on the list again. That guy.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
It's not yet, but we're going to talk. It should have been the transition. We'll talk about it in a minute because, more Shannon Shorr winning. But I want to talk about Black Friday. The 14th anniversary, in fact, happened earlier this week. And everybody who's been in poker long enough or played poker in 2011 remembers Black Friday. It's when the Department of Justice shut down Full Tilt Poker, shut down Poker Stars, Ultimate Bet, even though they were embroiled in their cheating scandal at the time. What about you guys? Were you playing poker? Were you part of online poker or the poker industry at the time? What's your story? I'll share mine just real quick. I had just started with PokerNews the year before, been working for them for a year and a half thereabouts, very low on the totem pole. And so at the time I was working and got a message from my boss saying, hey, this is happening. I didn't realize the gravity of the situation at the time because I didn't understand the industry as much back then. But still, dove in headfirst into writing stories, talking to players and things like that. But definitely didn't know how monumental it was at the time. What about you two?
No, I was in grad school. I was not playing
What
poker.
year? What year was Black Friday again?
Great.
2011. I wasn't
what I
playing.
thought.
I didn't play poker then.
That makes complete, because I was thinking in my head, like, why was I on my mom's account? 2011, it's before I was 21. I would have been 20, when it happened. So yeah, that makes sense. I was playing under my mom's name on Full Tilt and Poker Stars, and I'll actually never forget this. I played a $1 rush. It was a $1.50 rebuy and add-on, and I didn't have enough money on my account to rebuy or add on, and I went all the way at final tabled, and we chopped. They had like a chop feature.
You didn't have any money to rebuy.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any, but I was just like, every hand, I just
funny.
3-bet or 4-bet, and it just worked. Aggression worked, and I got like, we chopped, I got like $3,000, and I told him, I was like, I'm a professional poker player now. I went and bought an ounce of weed for $400, and I smoked that shit and lost the other $2,600 plus some money in the next month playing like dog shit, and then Black Friday came around, I had no money on there, so didn't really matter.
Yeah, I know. I did play online a little bit in college. Like that would have been like 2007, 2006, I think. But I played on this site called like Poker Room. I don't know if anybody remembers that one. I don't know. That's where I played, and I was terrible. So I don't know. I probably just stopped playing, and I don't know if I had money on anything.
Yeah. Well, everybody has their own Black Friday story.
I know,
It's
ours are
kind
kinda
of that
boring.
watershed moment.
Yeah.
There's definitely some out there. Poker News actually put out a little mini feature documentary type of thing about Black Friday. It's about I think 18 minutes long or thereabouts. Really good stuff. Check it out. I will link to it in the show notes, or just check it out on the Poker News YouTube channel.
I did watch that actually. I thought it was great.
Oh,
That was really good.
check it out.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Alan Kessler. We give him a hard time on the podcast every now and then, but I seen something and I'm like, all right, I got to give credit where credit is due. Eric Baldwin, Basebaldy, tweeted out a video of Alan Kessler playing the piano, playing a Vegas classic on the piano. There's video of it. He gave us permission. Check it out.
20 years, but we're going to try my way real quick.
Let's hear it.
Wait, let me sit down.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Amazing.
I haven't touched the piano since I've been in Vegas. That's at least 20 years.
All right.
All right, so there you have it. Alan Kessler actually got some piano chops. Kyna, what did you think? I know you're an Alan Kessler fan.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. Like he could still remember how to play his one song, you know? I took piano lessons when I was younger too. I did like piano competitions until I was like 12 or 13, and I don't think I could do that anymore. It's like it's hard, but maybe muscle memory. I don't know, but like good for Alan sitting down and just playing the whole song. That was cute.
Yeah, now I know why he's friends with so many women. The guy's pretty good with his hands.
Ooh.
Pretty good with his hands. The man played a beautiful piano rendition and serenaded Eric Baldwin.
That was very lovely. Yeah.
yeah,
Eric seemed really moved by that.
He
too.
seemed moved in multiple ways. Yeah, I mean, it was good stuff. Alan Kessler can play the fucking piano, man. Who knew? Who knew?
He's the piano man.
Phil Hellmuth, not a lot of people know this, expert at playing the recorder.
Wow.
It's also true. It's crazy.
You know, Alan Kessler would probably be one of those gentlemen who would enjoy the Philippines.
Holy
Talk.
Holy.
Let me. It's sunny. The beach. Good food. I
Cheap
did
food.
exchange messages with Alan after this video came out, and I said, you know, I got to give you credit. That's pretty impressive. And he's like, yeah, that was with zero practice. Hadn't played in like 20 years. And then I asked him, like, well, how did you learn? And he said, in his teens, he used to know hundreds of songs, not so many now. He says he has his parents set it up. They were 3 kids. He has 2 sisters. He was the best at it. And then he said his older sister is a genius at business, and his middle sister is a disaster area. His words, not mine.
Holy fuck, brother.
Yeah. And then we got into his background a little bit. There was no trust fund, he says, like some people claim. He did work a real job for 15 years and banked every check. Quote, I never touched my paychecks. So that accumulated a lot. And I asked him what he did. He said market research interviewer and then client rep, data processing. And then he ran his own market research department with 15 or so staff. Then he went to quit to work for his older sister, who apparently is like the brainchild and maybe has some IP in the whole like 1-800-Flowers, not 1-800-Flowers the business, but you know how like a toll-free number you spell out like a name using the numbers.
Yeah.
Apparently that was her big her big idea.
Wow, I'm surprised
Who knew?
you got all of that out of him. Like, I feel like I've asked Alan, like I know Alan, I've gone to dinner with him several times, and I feel like he never shares stuff about like his background or like how he accumulated his wealth or what he did in his past life. So I'm surprised that he told you that and allowed you to put it on our podcast.
It seemed,
I don't know.
tactical, almost, one might say.
Hopefully he doesn't get mad that I shared it, because I didn't say like I'm gonna put this on the podcast.
Hey, keep talking. I'm going to say what you said, my brother. I've actually had pretty good interactions with Alan lately, and I've been trying to be nicer to him.
Good.
And hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully shit's cool, man. You know?
Alan's a
Yeah.
cool guy.
Well-
I mean, he is who he is, and I guess you got to respect people for
Boy,
that.
it sounds like you don't like him very much.
No, I do like him.
I
He just
know, I
like
was
I
joking.
just like I know like
was just
appreciate
joshing.
that he is genuinely Alan Kessler.
And
Yeah.
I think we can all appreciate that. You should always be the genuine person that you are and not a fake person.
Right.
We do plan to do some fun stuff with Alan this summer during the World Series of Poker, so keep an eye out for that. I want to get into recent tournament winners as presented by WPT Global. But before I do, I want to tell you about something new that the WPT Global is doing. They're bringing the heat with 3 insane promotions that you don't want to miss. Whether you're a high-action tournament grinder, a bounty hunter, a fan of fast-paced poker action, they've got something for you, including Hyper Dash tournaments, a brand new daily promo packed with nonstop action. If you love fast-paced tournaments, buckle up, because WPT Global is hosting 50-plus turbo MTTs every single day. They run every hour, 24/7, starting at 40 minutes past the hour. Buy-ins range from $1.10 to $110. It's perfect for players of all levels, and you can sign up now. Hyperdash is the way to go. Check out WPT Global on PokerNews.com. Let's talk about some of these winners. Kyna, you mentioned it. Shannon Shorr back in the winner circle. I think you mentioned it. Like you were the first to text it in our group chat. Like, hey, he's at it again.
Yep. Such a scumbag. Winning tournaments, taking all the money. Terrible. But no, congrats,
And-
Shannon. He like posted some super cute video on his Instagram too, like with his like daughter, like being like, oh, like let's put daddy's trophy on the shelf, and pans to like all of his trophies. And they're like, yay, this one goes here. And it was super cute.
Yeah, he won event number 5 of the the U.S. Poker Open, the Poker Go Tour, for $220,000. The another winner in over there is Matthew Wantman. He not only won an event there for $231,000, he went into, I think, the next event or a couple events later, finished runner-up to Brandon Wilson for $242,000 additional. Brandon Wilson winning $382,000. My question to you, like Matthew Wantman and Brandon Wilson are 2 players that I'm reading about all the time. They're playing these Poker Go Tour events. I know they're Vegas guys, I'm pretty sure, but I haven't had personal interactions with them. But Mike, I'm going to assume, you battling in the Vegas streets, that you are familiar with these 2 guys.
Oh, yeah, of course. Brandon Wilson, we played a decent amount online. I don't think we've ever played in person, maybe once or twice when I didn't recognize him, maybe. But Bucky, Matthew Wantman, I've played with him a bunch. I've hung out with him outside of poker a little bit. And yeah, he's a cool guy. I usually see him around smoke breaks and stuff. Nice dude. Cool guy, a genuine human being. And so it's nice to see him win. Pretty well liked by the poker community. So score 1 for the good guys. And then obviously Shannon Shorr, an evil villain in the poker community at this point. He's done nothing but terrible things. Chaos and muck he brings, as they say. And yeah, the Alabama White Snake strikes again. Still, pounding the metaphorical butthole of the poker community and just taking all the money. Good for him, man. Good for you, Shannon. You're beautiful.
Another guy that is always winning is Daniel Lowery, the 18-time WSOP circuit ring winner. He won another ring, but not on the WSOP. It was at the Run Good Poker Series at Downstream casino. Now, he's won some rings before on the Run Good Poker Series, but never a main event ring. That changed when he topped a 496 entry field to win the main event in Joplin for $71,000. Daniel Lowery, just a crusher. He would be my winner's pick in any seniors event. It seems like he wins a lot of those. And in my experience, just an all-around good guy. Kyna, are you familiar with Daniel Lowery?
Yeah, I know Dan. Yeah. Good for him. He's a nice guy for sure. Travels a lot, I think, right? Like does the circuits and.
Yeah, I played with him a bunch, and we played a PLO 8 event where I think he final tabled, I got like 10th or something like that, 11th
cool.
last WSOP. But the real highlight for him was he got a really good small penis joke on me that got so many laughs from not only my table, but the rail and the tables next to us. And it will forever embarrass me, and I'll never forget. So Daniel Lowery, I'm remembering that, brother. I'm remembering that.
All right, the last thing I want to talk about was my recent trip to the MSPT at Running Aces in Minnesota last weekend. It was a fun time. I used to work for the MSPT for 3 years and I know you used to grind it all the time, former player of the year. And a lot of the players that I do. So it was great to see them. One of them is Rich Alsup, who I actually got to play with for a little bit. I'm going to give him a shout out because he became the first player in MSPT history to hit the $1 million mark in MSPT career earnings. Also, shout out to Paul Cross, who has now won the largest poker tour in Minnesota State history twice. Wow. He did it back in 2017. There was a field back then of 1,169. Well, the event number one of the latest MSPT, a $400 monster stack, got 1,315 runners, and he took that down for $65,000. So pretty impressive for Paul Cross.
I think somebody else did that too, right? Like somebody else won one of the biggest tournaments ever in Minnesota history. Okay.
Well, I mean, was that you?
I
didn't know. Was it at the time?
Yeah, I was confused, and now I understand. Yes, Kyna England was the Grandmaster champion of something.
I am also a Minnesota State champion, so good job, Paul. Not to steal your moment, but I'm gonna make it about me whenever I can.
Touche. I was taken aback. I didn't realize, but yeah. And then in the main event, there are 1,004 players in a $1,110 buy-in. I was one of them. Actually, it was 3 of those bullets with no luck, unfortunately. But it was B. Yang taking down the Minnesota Poker State Championship for $140,000 as a part of a 3-way deal. Interestingly, Carl Caro Denudo is I believe a 3-time MSPT champ. He finished third for $110,000. It was back-to-back events that he finished third. He had 2 weeks earlier finished third at the MSPT Riverside in Iowa for $57K. So Crazy Carl, we talked about Crazy Carl on this podcast.
Oh, that's
before,
my boy
Mike,
Crazy C, aka Young Carlton. No, of course, yeah. No, I was smoking woos.
I don't remember that. Was I not here?
He's one of the guys I smoked weed with in high school or something. I don't know
your guy of the week. Oh, Mike's guy of the week.
That's my fucking gay. That's my.
I think
gay.
If I recall correctly, kind of you were gone, and we were talking about I think it was a 15-way chop or another crazy chop.
Okay.
But Crazy Carl got like all the money because he had such a huge chip lead.
Interesting. And like Johnny Sins, he's involved in a lot of 3-ways as well. He's doing great. Crazy Carl, keep it up, brother. Keep laying that pipe.
No, well, I didn't do well in the tournament at MSPT Running Aces. I did have occasion to, you bust 3 bullets. You're feeling down, you have some drinks, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go fire the cash game. They don't have no limit there. Pot limit isn't a thing. It's not allowed by Minnesota state law, but they have spread limit. And they had an Omaha game, so it was $5 minimum bet up to $100 on each street, and if you can raise by it. So it gets pretty big pretty quick, and I did really well. I was very happy with it, got all my money back, and then I hit a royal flush. Bonus for $300. And then I actually met a young player there named Dane. I don't know his last name, but Dane was a lot of fun for me. Lucky charm, he was there when I hit the royal flush, but we got to talking, and it just reminded me. So in Minnesota, you only have to be 18 to play poker. In fact, it's where I first went. I drove from Wisconsin to Canterbury Park many years ago. And so just seeing him and his friend, who are these young players, not even old enough to go out to the bars, but they can come play poker, getting their start. And, I just let them sweat some of the Omaha. It was just a cool moment for me to be like, that was me at one point.
Yeah.
And it was really cool kid. And
an 18-year-old boy named Dane was your lucky charm, is what that's the synopsis for the AI overview. This part right here. Chad's lucky charm, 18-year-old Dane. right?
And he was from the Philippines.
He
which is
was.
the
God.
craziest part.
I bet he
Oh
wasn't
my
18, was he, Chad?
God.
Someone get Hoyt Corkins on the line.
He was not from the Philippines. I joke. He was
Yeah,
a local
you
player.
racist
But
fucker.
I can tell you this much though, just from talking to him a little bit about hands and strategy, man. The up and coming players, the young players these days are so much ahead of the game compared to where I was when I was 18, 19, 20, and it's pretty wild.
What, you were talking strategy at the table?
I mean, in between hands or after hands.
Yeah. Okay, just
Well,
no.
kind of
Sure.
explaining the rules of Omaha and stuff. So, but yeah. Anyways, cool guy, and hopefully we'll report on him on the PokerNews podcast in the future. That is going to be it for this episode. We'll be back next week, but the WSOP is fast approaching. I think as we're recording this, it's only 41 days away.
Wow.
Are you guys ready? It's sneaking up quick.
It's coming. Got a lot of other things before then coming up, but yeah.
At least tax day is over for you, Kyna.
Tax day is over.
Behind you
but
now.
the lady series is coming up. The Lips events are next week, and then a few other things. So, there's
Is there a
lot
stream? Wasn't there a lady stream?
Oh,
that
that was
to
at
talk
the
about?
Venetian. Yeah, on Sunday. I went over there because the ladies, like a bunch of my hot dog friends, were playing on the stream.
No, yeah.
And I was an alternate, so I got to go over there and just kind of wave at the camera and just be like, hey, here I am. Like, I was like alternate number 3, so there's no way I was going to play. But it was fun to be there and be around. And you can watch that stream on YouTube if you're interested. The ladies fought for it. It was really fun to watch. So check it out.
I saw Haley Hanna was metaphorically doing the worm on the table,
Yeah.
with how much she won. She did great. Let's go, Haley. We love her.
Haley.
She does fantastic. Fun stuff. Cool stream. Good for the Venetian. Trying to get shit popping.
And I put it
Good
in their
stuff.
ear too, because like they were talking about commentary, and I was like, well, maybe me and Mike could go do a commentary sometime.
You
That
think
would be
I
fun.
haven't already attempted to infiltrate the commentary scene at the Venetian?
I mentioned it to
No,
the
I've
floor
been in-
producer guy, and maybe, hey, invite us over, Venetian. Would be a fun time. We'll try our best to call out hands, but we will put on a good show.
I will actually do a fantastic job commentating.
There you have it. Hopefully to make it happen, maybe I'll put in some calls over there. That's going to do it for this episode of the Poker News Podcast. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, share with your friends. We will be back next week. Remember, every Thursday, a new episode. We'll actually be doing 2 episodes during the 2025 World Series of Poker, publishing every Thursday, same time slot, but we're also going to add a Sunday to that mix. So until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.